Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Life is short, and it's full of a lot of interesting questions. What does happiness really mean? How do I get the most out of my time here on Earth? And what really is the best cereal? These are the questions I seek to resolve on my weekly podcast, Life is Short with Justin Long. Follow Life is Short wherever you get your podcasts. You can also listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Crappens. 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 Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today, fresh from his commute to the Hamptons, it's Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Oh, hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
Hi.
Hey, babe. Hey, babe. It's totally different this season because, like, you're my babe. So.
Wait, let's do it together. We, finish my sentence. We
are
in
love.
Yeah.
Babe. Babe.
It's Summer House. Summer House is back, everyone. We are so excited.
You know what? Congratulations to Summer House. But more importantly, congratulations to us. We have recapped every episode of fucking Summer House. I mean, you know, what kind of... I want this set at my funeral. I want... You know, we don't like when seasons end and begin, you know, we age, we get older. Well, not me, because I'm getting Botox now, but you know what I mean. You look back upon your life, and how many people can say, wow, 7 years of Summer House.
Yeah. Well, 7 years of Summer House. We have been champions of Summer House from the very beginning. You know, I feel like Summer House is one of our successes because shows come along, we champion them, and then famously they go away. You know, Gallery Girls, Game of Crowns. I have to just assume Real Girlfriends in Paris.
Long Island Girls, Long Island Princesses.
Long Island.
Oh my God. What was that?
Cabo,
Housewives of Long
Cabo.
Island.
Yeah.
Like, what was that called? The one where you got licensed.
Oh, yeah. Secrets and Wives. Paralyzed. All these shows were like, everyone, you got to watch. And they go away.
Yeah.
But I feel like Summer House, we stood by. Bravo actually stood by this one, and now it is like one of their, you know, marquee shows.
Yeah. Great show. You know, it's a rough season already for this show because they've got an uphill battle. Everybody's engaged, married, or, you know, about to be, and it's off. Like there is definitely something off, but man, they still mine gold. I have to give it to them. And this is the first season of new cast where I felt the cast was immediately on solid ground. The new cast.
Oh yeah. Love Gabby, the new girl. The new guy seems fine. Love that, you know, I was very happy. Oh, and also that girl Sam. Oh my God. I feel like we're gonna have so much fun with Sam. But I think it's interesting because it's definitely fallen into the season 7 trap, which I'm now calling the season 7 trap. I don't know if it's a thing, but Vanderpump Rules in its 7th season, everyone decided to adult. This season, we now have Carl and Lindsay starting to adult and Kyle making hints at adulting, but we also see Kyle grasping onto youth, which is, we didn't quite see that in the same way on Vanderpump Rules. We saw people who still were grasping onto youth, but we're also pretending like they were adulting at the same time. And I think that Kyle is actually genuinely like still trying to keep it going.
Well, that's kind of Kyle's personality, is like grasping onto youth, you know, and trying too hard and being drunker than everybody else. And it's like super awkward because he's also the oldest. Right now it's getting a little more awkward because he's got the mullet that he's committed to. And I think that to him that's youthful, but to the rest of us, it's like your dad's friend in the 70s who would like mow the lawn in really short shorts, you know, and it's like, it's a mustache far behind, you know, it's a little white vanish.
I feel like his mullet for years, he has a stupid mullet wig thing. And for years, he thought about growing the mullet. And then finally this year, he got the balls to grow his own mullet. And he did it on the season where everyone's adulting and doesn't care about his mullet anymore on his cast. He like missed the window. Like no one's even commented. No one has been like, oh my God, your mullet's coming out well. I mean, there was a moment where it was, Amanda sort of flat ironed it a little bit, but yeah, the mullet's sad. But I'll tell you what isn't sad. Before we get into the recap, next week, it's the Golden Crappies. It's also our Phoenix show, and we're going to be doing some of the categories in Phoenix / Scottsdale. That's going to be on the 23rd. Golden Crappies are on the 24th. In LA, our biggest show we've ever had in our biggest theater. We have a ton of guests. It's going to be on Moment House. You can go to momenthouse.co/WWC, and you can get a ticket to watch along virtually. But if you're in this region, I highly recommend coming to the Crappies. They're so much fun. Also, you can vote. The categories are open. You can vote for your favorites. Some of the categories we are going to winnow down to a top 4. And then we're also going to introduce some Instagram voting later on this week. So that's going to be really fun as well. We just want everyone to have their say. But also another thing is, I'm here in LA. You used to be here, Ronnie, in LA. And whenever it's award season, honestly, even when it's not award season, it's just sort of weird. There are all these for your consideration billboards set up everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's like, please consider Top Chef, everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? The Crappies are part of LA's award season. We're coming right in the middle of award season. And we need to be part of the award season traditions. So I am going to make an appeal to the listeners of Watch What Crappens to provide some for your consideration materials. And what I would love is if you have a nominee that you are passionate about in the Crappies, make a story on Instagram and tag us. And in the story, tell us why you think everyone should be voting for this nominee in that category. And we will regram it. And we might even actually include it in the Crappies ceremony. So our Instagram is @WatchWhatCrappens. So go do that. I think that'll be really fun.
And be as creative as you want. You could just give a speech stumping for this person. You could be this person. Costumes are allowed. Whatever you want. Settings, editing, music. Do whatever you'd like, okay? Just give us a video stumping for who should win and why. Because the Crappies, sometimes it feels like it's just us until we actually get to the actual show, because it is. But it really is you guys. It's an audience-based show. Most of the nominees come from you guys. Obviously, the winners come from you guys. So we want you involved too. So throw your videos in the ring, people.
And especially because you may assume that there's a category that you think your favorite is a shoo-in, and they may not actually be. It's always sort of surprising to see how the votes go. So, or if you just think that there's like an underrepresented or like overlooked gem, I say do it. Go for it. So, Watch What Crappens, and just tag us, and we'll regram you on our Instagram, and
Yes.
be a champion.
Do it, guys.
Deserving
Be a
nominees.
champ. So today we're here with. Oh no, that's Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Which is also back. Oh yeah. Living the best life from sunset to sunrise. We're gonna take it over and no other place, and we'll show you the way.
For those who don't know, for those who are late adopters to Summer House, there actually is a theme song to this show. They just haven't put it on in like 3 years. But there is a theme song.
It's the same of you who don't know that Kyle's wig was a meme before Kyle's actual mullet.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you don't know about the theme songed era of Summer House, you definitely need to go back and catch up, because those were some epic seasons.
Yes. Okay. Let's get into it. Here we are, summer 2022. The green screen is up, and we see everybody sitting down to get their interviews done. And then we see the clack. And a producer asked Danielle if she could describe this summer in one word. And she says, What did Lindsay say? Whatever Lindsay said.
And and they're, by the way, they're playing, I think it's Vivaldi in the back. I could be wrong. It's like
they're
Vivaldi.
playing the violins. They are. And right before I started playing this, I watched the first half of Tar, the movie with Kate
How is
Blanchett.
it? I haven't seen it yet.
Completely up its own ass. I love it. It's just Kate Blanchett being really extremely intelligent and snotty. And so far,
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Oh, when Kate Blanchett does those sort of movies, it's like Notes on a Scandal. Oh, so
yeah.
good.
It's just like Kate talking very deeply about conducting and music and her ego, how her ego's so intertwined with her character. And it's really just... I mean, it's like watching Frasier, but not as a sitcom. It's like that same kind of mentality, you know? So I'm loving it. But yeah, to hear this music being like for Summer House, you know?
It's so good. And on top of that, that piece is from Vivaldi's Four Seasons. And I don't remember if that's actually summer. In which case, if it is, like, well done, producers. What a clever piece of, classical music to play for your Summer House intro.
Well, you never know.
Really
So then
genre.
we see clips of the season, lots of crying. Lindsay going, "Why do I need your blessing?" And Paige going, mayhem, utter mayhem. And then Amanda sobbing in bed. I was like, Jesus, is this Amanda's greatest hits? Because this is every season is Amanda sobbing wide-mouthed in bed.
Yeah. But the real preview for the season happens after that, because once it sort of like fades out, then we hear babe, Carl, babe, and like that is the preview of the season, because that's all we're going to be getting for the next 2 months.
And you see just shots from their lives together, Lindsay and Carl's lives together, as they call each other babe throughout the apartment.
Yeah,
and it's like a shot of the zebra that they used to try and make a thing, that they bought at that roadside stand. And then a shot of another part of the room, which is just a giant cardboard cutout of Lindsay smiling.
Like by her bed. Is it like on her nightstand or something?
Who wants to wake up to Lindsay smiling like a fucking jackal? Okay, not me. I do not want that.
I know, but Carl does, because, they have this sort of like Marco Polo moment where she's like, babe, Carl.
Babe. Babe.
Babe,
Babe.
babe,
Babe.
babe,
Babe.
babe,
Babe.
babe,
Babe. And then she jumps out of the closet and she's dressed as a sexy nurse. And she's like, did someone call 911? Is this a hospital? We do not only break hearts, but we mend them. And then she pushes him on the bed and jumps on top of him. And he's like, yeah.
And she goes, you can call me Nurse Heart Palpitations.
Guys, if you're already having to do this and you just started dating, it's not looking good for you. Okay? This is like 5 years into your relationship and you have to start playing nurse and jumping out of the closet.
Well, also, though, like, couldn't she have come up with a better nurse pun than Nurse Hard Palpitations?
No, it's Lindsay, okay?
Because I understand she made a pun on heart palpitations, but, like, that is... Nurse Hard Palpitations, I don't know. It's not landing for me. Like, maybe if she did like Nurse Smacky or Nurse, I don't know. I'm trying to think of Ratchet. I really can only think of two famous nurses, but like, I just feel like she could do better.
You've got some clots. We need to relieve some pressure or something. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe that Carl's getting boners. Is my point. I think that Carl is having boner trouble because Lindsay doesn't understand why Carl's not getting boners. But there's like a giant cardboard Lindsay staring at Carl every time he tries to get a boner. So I don't know. I feel like the answer's in the room. But I don't know. That's just me looking ahead. Yeah, that's me just guessing, I don't know.
Well, yeah, she goes, well, Carl and I just like moved in together like literally 2 weeks ago. And he's like, oh, this is so hot. You look amazing. You look amazing, by the way. You look great, by the way.
It's like, I'm like, oh, what? Is this for real? I just like fell in love with my best friend. I'm like living that rom-com movie. Like in real life. Yeah, like that Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher one where it just looks like bad community theater acting and ain't nobody buying. Is anybody buying this? I'm not buying this at all, this Lindsay and Carl thing. I don't buy it.
It's definitely giving me like not Hallmark, but like Great American Country or CMT vibes. Like I feel like it's that kind of rom-com. Like it never was released in theaters. It just was.
Yeah,
it was just a
like I could
TV
believe
rom-com.
it. I could believe that they would be together. It's always seemed believable to me until I actually saw it in action on Winter House. That's when I was suspicious. But now with the cardboard cutout and the nurse scene and the Carl just following her around going, babe, 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 babe. I don't know that this, I believe that they're together. I don't believe that they're happy like this.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't tell. I can't tell. In some ways, they look really happy, but in some ways, it looks like they are doing like weird cosplay of those movies where people fall in love at a pumpkin patch drinking apple cider, you know. And so she's like, "Babe, I'm not wearing any underwear," and he's like, "Oh, you're not, babe. Oh my God, wow, wow, babe, wow."
Yeah, he lifts up her skirt and Lex. He's like, "Oh, wow, babe." But we know that. This is I just don't believe it because Carl only has 2 pairs of pants. He's not going to want you grinding on underwearless. He doesn't want to have to do laundry. You know what I mean? I'm just not buying it. So then we get a song and it goes, looking for the fun, looking for the sign. Oh, we rhyme.
Yeah. We're running because we're looking. Was it looking for the fine? I thought it was that makes more sense because it rhymes with sign.
I thought looking for the fun, looking for the sign. We rhyme.
Fun, but pronounced like fine. Because I wrote down fire because that was the closest word I could make sense of.
Oh.
But looking for the fun, but said in a way that it kind of bends towards sign. Got it. Oh, because it rhymes with run.
I don't know. So Kyle has a different car every time we see him. You know, Kyle's just one of those people. He's just one of those dudes. Like every year he's got a new car. I want to be one of those dudes. I love that.
I never was one of those. I am not. I drive my cars until they die for like 11 years. But anyone who listened to the bonus episode last week on Patreon knows that I somehow got Kia fever, which is a weird fever to get, but I got it. And I won't go into it, but I've had an emotional roller coaster this weekend involving Kias. I'll just say that
you have been on and you know what? I've been on a Kia journey with you. I've been looking up Kias, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at all the different, qualities of a Kia. We've learned a lot about Kias. I mean, the listeners told us a lot about them. Like, they were easy to break into for a long time. So, like, that made insurance expensive. There's a lot that goes into this.
I just have to say, the car shortage is real. And I didn't really respect that because I decided on Friday to take myself to a Kia dealership. And I test drove the exact kind of Kia that I wanted. And I decided, you know what, I want to think about this. This feels rash because I normally spend 11 years before I buy a car. And the guy's like, well, this is a really rare one and it might sell later today. And I was like, okay, spare me the bullshit. So then I went to IKEA and I was very proud of myself for doing the Kia to IKEA back-to-back thing just based on the wordplay. And then and I sort of dilly-dallied in there. And then I went back to IKEA. I went back to IKEA and they're like, oh, you better hurry. Someone's about to buy it. And I was like, oh, God, enough with this. But I was like, you know what, though? I do want to buy it. I was doing the paperwork. And while I was doing the paperwork, the car sold out from under me, which is it's not really from under me because I was going to buy it from under someone else, apparently. But either way, it was sold. They rang a bell and everything. This lovely couple, they were cheering this lovely couple. I was giving them I was like, fuck you.
They ring a bell at the Kia? Come on.
They rang a bell like it was like selling sunset. I was like, where's Chriselle?
Kia has a bell.
They have a bell. Everyone made noise. It was a whole thing. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll just get, they're like, don't worry, we have another one. And they're like, oh, actually, we don't have one, but this one's coming in a week. And then they called and they said, oh, we called the manufacturer. They're not making them anymore. It might not be available for at least 3 months. And I was like, and this is my heart. This is where I'm at right now. So I'm like Kia triggered at the moment.
Well, hey, maybe you can go get a Beamer because I think that's what Kyle's driving now. It's nice. It's like a big one.
I'll spend like what, $30,000 more dollars?
Like 70 probably.
Oh jeez. I'm gonna stick with the Kia lifestyle.
Yeah, that's what I want to see from Kyle. That's when I'll know that Kyle is serious about being married and having a family. When Kyle drops the fucking Ferrari. Not Ferraris, but he's driven some nice cars on here. I mean, every year it's a new, really expensive, gorgeous car. When he shows up in a Kia, I'll be like, okay, a mullet and a Kia, you're ready. Go have your babies now. You have my blessing.
Oh my goodness! Every time I just saw a Kia earlier today, and I was like, Kia. Now I have like weird Kia, like any Kia now. Not even the Kia that I wanted. I'm now like obsessed with Kias, and I hate that I'm obsessed with Kias because it's such a weird thing to be obsessed with. I don't like it. I feel like I've had some spell put on me because of one Uber driver in Dallas. Ugh.
Yeah, all it takes is one, Ben. You know, you see your love, and
before you know it, you're like, babe, every time you see a Kia.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
It's really hard to stick with working out.
Oh my God, it's really, really hard.
Me too. And it's a new year, and it's really time to get our butts in shape. And you know what? Peloton makes it really easy.
Oh my God, you know I'm a big Peloton fan because Peloton is more than just a bike. You probably already know that Peloton makes bikes, but what you may not know is that they also make treadmills. And no, not all treadmills are the same. With the Peloton Tread, you can seamlessly adjust your speed, and it can automatically adjust your incline while you're taking a class, so you never break your stride. I have used a Peloton Tread, and I can attest that this is what happens. It is a lovely, lovely experience. And by the way, it's also not that big. I was shocked by how compact it is.
Because nothing gets you moving like the perfect song, Peloton offers the best playlist with a variety of genres. Whether you're looking for EDM, 90s pop, something soulful, Peloton has music to fit your mood.
It's fitness for all levels. Like, you don't have to be a super athlete to enjoy Peloton because there are classes for every level. Whether you're squeezing in a power walk or training for a marathon, Peloton can help you achieve your fitness goals.
Try Peloton Tread risk-free with a 30-day home trial.
New members only, not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
Meet Jill Evans. Jill's got it all. A big house, fast car, 2 kids, and a great career. But Jill has a problem. When it comes to love, Jill can never seem to get things right. And then along comes Dean.
I can't believe my luck. Whoa, I've hit the jackpot.
It looks like they're going to live happily ever after. But on Halloween night, things get a little gruesome.
This is where the shooting happened outside a building society in New Romney. It's thought the 42-year-old victim was killed after he opened fire on police.
And Jill's life is changed forever. From Wondery and Novel comes Stolen Hearts, a story about a cop who falls in love with a man who is not all he seems to be. I'm Kerry Godliman. Follow Stolen Hearts on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app.
So, Kyle's in his new car and he's like, not gonna lie, I'm more of a sedan guy, but I just don't know how we do our life in just a sedan. Hence the big SUV. And Amanda's like, oh my God, Kyle, that guy just literally cut you off, Kyle. Wait, Kyle, don't write his ass, Kyle.
Yeah, well, I spent too much time in Italia. And she's like, Italia? Like, every time you do an accent, it comes off as offensive, Kyle.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, fucker, you, to the driver. That's his accent. She's like, maybe you should just not do accents, Kyle. And he's like, for years, people have been telling me I'm immature. But this summer, I finally grow up. I'm married. I'm turning 40. I want to have a massive summer.
Don't say those words. I finally grew up. It's just, those are just concepts that do not work on Bravo. Okay. Yeah. So now, meanwhile, Paige is driving, or she's more like in the middle of the road, parked, and so someone's honking at her, and she's like, "Oh my God, shut up! Shut up! Oh my God, I'm going! Oh my God!" It's like I walked into JCPenney or something disgusting. Ew.
My God. So she ends up on the wrong side of the street to pick up Gabby, fashion editor, who's new to the cast. And she's like, oh, good thing I wore my driving shoes. And Gabby's like, getting down here is a nightmare. People are so aggressive down here.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. And they say it's because of all the people working in finance who are stressed out. So, which
they're all stressed about money.
Stressed about money. So, Paige is like, yeah, I met Gabby at a dinner and like we got drunk and she told me about my horoscope. And I think that's how Gabby meets all her friends. And she's like, yeah, I'm a Taurus sun, I'm a Libra rising and a Scorpio moon and a general mess on a good day. So planetarily, that's just how I came out.
And Paige is totally right with her read because people like Gabby are like that at all times, you know?
Yeah.
Big Mac. I would love a Big Mac meal, but unfortunately, my moon's an Aquarius tonight. It's like, oh, shut up, you know? So, Carl and Lindsay are both in blue, and they're laughing way too hard at each other. Carl's like, woohoo, doggy, woohoo, doggy. She's like, ha, 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 ha. Carl's like, oh, babe. And she goes, what if we matched all summer? It would really piss people off. Matchy. Oh. And she's like,
I just want to point out because she goes, I like matching with you, like whether it's on accident or not. And she's wearing like a navy blazer with yellow accents. Yeah, like you said, like there's blues with some yellows. And what I love the most is that while she's talking about how she matches Carl, out her window is a Penske moving truck that's literally the same colors. I was like, you also matched a truck on the highway. I was like, this is the metaphor. These are the metaphors I love on this show.
The cardboard cutout of Lindsay in the back seat is dressed exactly the same way. Oh my God, I love when we're dressed the same, me.
I felt, yeah. So then Carl's like, oh, we are a match made.
In the Hamptons?
No.
In heaven. In heaven.
No, this is when they do their alternating thing, which goes, match made. In? Heaven. In? Hamptons.
Except they can't get on the same page with their sentence. Oh, this couple.
Wait, from the top. We are a match made.
In?
Manhattan.
Then?
New.
Tons?
What?
Lindsay!
Well, from the top.
Do you have any syllables, Lindsay, to add to this conversation? Like they blame it all on the cardboard, Lindsay. It's like, you idiot.
All right, we'll get. By the time we get to Hamptons, we'll get our little back and forth. Right? Okay.
I know. I love that they think they can finish each other's sentences, but they can't. It's like so. It's so cute. So then, Gabby and Paige's car. Gabby's like, "So is everyone matched up now, or what?" And Paige is like, "Not everyone. Well, Kyle and Amanda, who are married and have been the most stable couple forever, they're there." And it just cuts to Amanda yawning really big. She's like,
And then Carl and Lindsay have just started to date last summer, so we all hate them for that. And then we have Maya, and she's quote unquote dating this guy named Oliver. So if you watched last season as you were supposed to, you would have seen him there.
It was sparring. And then she's like, by the way, let me just say Lindsay again, just so Ronnie can say this part. Lindsay and Carl, I guess, are in love. And then it cuts to Lindsay eating Carl's fingers, going, I'm hungry.
Oh, babe. Need those, babe.
Babe, your teeth are so sharp.
Yeah, because I tried to bite the Penske truck by accident because I thought it was you. We're all matching.
So Paige is like, here's the thing. If I have a boyfriend, but he's not in the state, do I have a boyfriend? Just kidding. I love Craig dearly. And Gabby's like, what's his sign?
Well, it's not great for us. I'm a Scorpio and he's an Aquarius. And Gabby's like, oh, she's like, yeah, but the sex is great. It's like the best I've ever had. So I know I'm not going anywhere.
So same house. Oh, so they're back to the same house. So Amanda's like, I guess I'll bring the grocery bags in. Like, yay. I love how they start every season with Amanda.
Yeah. And there's like a Tetris puzzle of Loverboy boxes on the front stoop as usual, and there's a new sofa that they're excited about. And we see that Luke's old room is a gym now, and Kyle tells us, he says, the Hamptons, known for old money, but also old laws, and our house just so happens to be zoned for 5 bedrooms, not 9, and I got a call yesterday that 4 of the bedrooms are not usable, so welcome to camp. So basically, they all have to basically live on top of each other, which is great, because they'll be even more irritated by the end of the summer.
It's great for us. Like, it's terrible for them. But yeah, really good for us. They found a way to kind of up the ante this season, which I really like. Yeah. So Amanda's like, this isn't for us unless we want to share it with Carl and Lindsay, Kyle. Because the primary bedroom now has 2 king beds inside of it that face each other. And all the beds have multiple multiple beds and stuff now, except for one. So they get the one room that has one bed in it to share.
Yeah. And so now a minivan shows up, and this new guy, Chris, arrives. And I don't remember how Chris is even attached to anyone. Did they even say how anyone knew Chris? Or I
don't think they're trying this year. This year, they're just like, we cast it.
Yeah, I think it's just like a blatant, like, here's a guy. Yeah. There's a guy named Chris.
It's just some absolute fucking cheeseball named Chris, with hair doesn't quite move, but he smiles a lot. Let's see if he works.
He likes to do like that little bop when music comes on, where he's like not fully dancing, but he's like alluding to the fact that he enjoys dancing, but won't actually dance. Yeah.
Yeah. He does do that. So Kyle and Chris are talking, and Kyle's like, well, we're going to be outnumbered, but that's good for you, right? Oh, chicks, right, bro? Right, bro? And Chris is like, I was raised in Naples, which is a retirement town. It's dead. It's dead. So I've just been in hustling mode, been out there like hustling and stuff. But then I realized, gotta hustle a lot. I need to enjoy myself. Kias aren't going to sell themselves, but at the same time, nobody wants a stressed out Kia dealer, right? So, never done a Hamptons house share before that audition on Craigslist, included a little on-camera masturbation. But don't worry, it was only FaceTime cameras. So, here I am. I won, bitch.
Yeah, never done a Hamptons house share before. Or a house share. Or, honestly, I've never been in a house. I grew up on a open stretch of field. Anyway, great to be here. So then, Paige and Gabby arrive, and Paige is like, we used to have like a really nice Italian man who would carry your bags and always give you compliments at the same time. He would always sort of kiss your hand and then yell, Lexi, Miss Lexi. It was really weird, but it got the job done.
So they hug Amanda, they meet Chris, and Paige is like, nice to meet you. You smell so nice, Chris. Oh my God, is that your head? It's very hard. So I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. And Carl's like, literally 24 hours ago, the homeowner is like working with the fire marshal guys, but sorry, you can't have more bedrooms than your zone 4. So.
No. Paige just goes, no.
And then Amanda's like, there are only 5 bedrooms, guys. And Gabby's like, oh my God, wait, how is that a law? How's this law?
Was this law created while Mercury was in retrograde? Like, what the hell?
Disgusting. So they go to the primary, and Paige is like, okay, this is easy. Maya, Gabby, me, and Sierra. Honestly, I like the idea of 4 girls. And Amanda's like, can I just be one of the girls, Kyle?
And then Paige is like, oh, but I don't want your friend Sam to think we just left her out in the cold. Just kidding. I totally want her to feel that way. She's out. Bye.
So Maya arrives, and she's like, hey, Uber driver, do you mind waiting for me to get help with my bags? I was like, your Uber driver just drove 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Amanda asks her, is that a bottle of vinegar? And she's like, tequila. I'm fun Maya this time.
Imagine if it really were vinegar, though. Oh, shoot. No, sorry, guys. This is balsamic.
It would make more sense with Maya's personality, because Maya's usually like a little low energy. Like, I'm not really sure how I feel yet, guys. But now she's like, I'm party Maya now.
I'm kind of blonde now. Yes, I brought vinegar/tequila to the Hamptons.
And Carl goes, hey, do you have a cookie for me? And she goes, no, but you can get my bags. He's like, Okay, I can do that. 40
Wow,
now.
I'm surprised that you haven't been commissioned to get her bags also at this point. Because I know she doesn't have cookies for you. So it's fine. It's only been a year.
Oh my God, let's stop torturing poor Maya. She
Maya,
changed
by the
her
way-
whole... She changed her whole business thing.
Did she?
Since then. Yeah, like, because I tried to go on to the Need blog or whatever, which is her thing, and be like, hey, I still didn't get these. I don't really care, except that I know people are still torturing you online about it. But it was sent back to me. The email was sent back to me, so I don't even know.
I hope that $40
where to
were
go
too.
from that.
Well,
they might have been. I don't know. I'll go check.
Imagine
the
if all
Amex.
this time. Could you imagine if like the cookies were delivered and someone just stole them off your stoop? Like, and all this time we're torturing this otherwise very lovely person.
No, because I never got the email that said, there was like an email that said, we'll let you know when your cookies are going to be delivered. I never got that. Trust me, girl, I've checked this email a million times. Nothing
Yeah, I have
has
to
happened.
say, my Kia emotional roller coaster does not even compare to your Maya emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, but people don't torture Maya. She's so nice. And I probably
she
will.
is nice.
I probably will order them again because I have heard that her cookies are amazing from multiple people. And also, even though he was fired or let go or not asked back, whatever, Luke, our handsome little devil Luke, we need to order his maple syrup. Why haven't you sent it to us without us ordering it? Luke, come on,
let's
bro.
be honest.
Come on, you're a bro, Luke. But we need to order some maple syrup, brah.
I'm a maple syrup head. People may not realize this, but I am. I live for that maple syrup rush. It's like the Kia of breakfast
Oh my God,
sauces.
you're ridiculous. And if you get a free Kia out of this, listen, if Ben gets a
I'm not
free
gonna
Kia,
get
I'm going to make
guarantee
the
I'm
same
not gonna get a free
announcement.
Kia.
Yes, you do. You say things and then you get free things. You manifest like that. And if Ben gets a free Kia and I don't, I'm going to riot and I will talk shit about the Kia every day. So if someone's giving away a Kia, be prepared to give away two. Okay?
I guarantee the Kia. Okay, it's one thing to get like I got like free pickles once. It's one thing to get free pickles. Grillo's pickles, delicious. A Kia is, you're not going to get a free Kia. It's just not going to, that's not a thing that happens. Okay.
Well,
There's a
we'll
car
see.
shortage. They're expensive. I mean, it's not like they're $5, you know, they're like cars. It's like, what's
They're like cars. They're like cars.
They're not
Okay,
cars,
so-
they're lifestyles. Anyway.
Sorry for the cough. I've still got COVID.
By the way, Maya is a nominee in the Crappies for best entrepreneurial whatever. So, you know.
So we hear, you know. So Paige is like deciding all the four girls are going to stay in this room. Maya arrives. She pours shots for everybody. And then, of course, Paige immediately is like, has anyone talked to Lindsay and Carl? How are we going to ruin their lives this year? And Amanda's like, well, they went to lunch and no one's been in contact with them since.
Yeah, it was like a really horrible experience of two people who kept kissing and then mugging towards a camera that wasn't there and then saying, up next on the Hallmark Channel. And we're like, but you guys, you're not on TV right now. We're on the Hallmark Channel. So we stopped seeing them.
Yeah, last we heard they were at lunch and they were offering their waiter a hashtag in return for the bill. So no one's heard from them since. And Kyle is like, oh yeah, let me tell you this love story, Chris. You're new. Wow, that hair really is hard. All right, so, you know, these two met here and I'd be really excited for them to have another couple. But, you know, on the other hand, the last 2 nights they spent together was with us in Winter House, and it was the most awkward ever. Yeah, because all of you started your dirty work about them, you know, and it rubbed off
Austin.
because it was Austin, yeah, but it was all of them. It was like Paige, like, oh my God, somebody needs to have this talk with Lindsay. Somebody needs to tell. No. If people don't watch Winter House, we should explain what happened. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Austin Kroll tried to start something called Dick Touch Gate, which never really caught on except with him. And he basically was like, Lindsay, on the night of Kyle and Amanda's wedding, she touched my dick. And that was the same night that she said that she and Carl were going to try to start dating. And so then, which is like a big nothing. It's literally a who cares. And then he went and told everyone. And then everyone was like, well, should we tell Lindsay or that she's saying this? Or should we tell Carl? And it became a nothing scandal. And then when they told Lindsay, she basically had no reaction, and Carl, they both kind of like laughed a lot, which seemed to indicate that maybe they already knew about this and were like not going to give it any life.
And it was fishy because they kept changing the date that they were together, because everybody was saying, yeah, they decided to get together on Kyle and Amanda's wedding. But then Lindsay was like, oh my God, a week after on October 5th or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They were
it's like a very specific date and very specific details about like a pizza delivery or like a McDonald's delivery. That was like, there was like an Uber Eats delivery in the middle of it. And she's like, well, yeah, I remember getting like Big Mac and fries and a high C with no ice. And then a week later I had sex with Carl for the first time.
Yeah, so basically the whole cast, spearheaded by Austin, tried to comfort their relationship in the 2 days that they were at this winter house thing. So they're coming into this season extremely defensive, and rightly so, because they're already starting. You know, you can see them already starting.
But I don't want to give them too much credit for being justifiably like not like out of step with the vibe of the house, because they did come into Winter House and they were kind of like oh yeah, we need this room because we're a couple, you know, like they definitely had that like, we're dating now, so that means we're adults now and we're gonna do adult things, and like their vibe definitely shifted to Bachelor in Paradise or something like that. So
right, and that's how they're entering this year as well. And I agree with that, but that's how Kyle and Amanda have entered every year, and everyone's fine with that. You know?
Yeah, but I guess they, well, I feel like Kyle and Amanda have entered as a couple, but they're like a disaster couple, and there's just like no denying it. Whereas Carl and Lindsay are just, you know,
Carl and
like
Lindsay demanding
sweaters,
a room,
you know,
when they're there for 2 days and demanding people move rooms. I mean, they are ridiculous. And you know, I think I was Team Lindsay the whole time because I just felt everyone was ganging up on them for no reason. But I already feel it turning this season because I'm already annoyed with the babe. Yeah. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. So Kyle's basically like, he says he takes the vibe of the house very seriously, and he just wants them to fit in, and he just doesn't know what to expect with them. And then also then we get this really weird crinkle I was not expecting whatsoever between Lindsay. It involves Lindsay, Maya, and Family Feud.
So the cast so Maya's like, okay, so we haven't spoken since Family Feud, but Lindsay's mad at me and she doesn't want me having a relationship with Carl. And Gabby goes, well, she said that for Benham? And she goes, yeah. She said I wanted Carl like in a sexual way or something. And then they all try not to die laughing, you know? So Maya tells us the story. They were in LA doing Family Feud, and they lost, which really upset her. And then we see a clip of Maya being like, oh, we lost.
The question was, name something that you absolutely love to drink in a bar. And she's like, balsamic vinegar. Oh, damn it. We have a bunch of people, their favorite salad dressing, tequila and oil. Damn it.
The average time an American cookie order takes to ship, 70 years. Damn it.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So, they lose. So then she's like, yeah. And so I was upset that we lost. And then I was in a car with Lindsay on the way back to the hotel. And I told her I just texted Carl. And I was like, maybe like, I said, hey, Carl, maybe we can like smoke a J when we get back to the hotel. And I guess that Lindsay didn't know that I smoked with Carl before, like a lot in the house. And so that's when she told me that I was like disrespectful of their relationship. And then she also told me I want Carl in a romantic way. And I'm not that girl. And like, I have a friendship with Carl too. Like, what the hell was this? Lindsay.
That's great. And then they also, by the way, they show Carl on the set of Family Feud, and they put a Family Feud X over him, like, eh. So then, Maya's like, she's like, I don't think I should be penalized for texting a friend. And I agree. I think this is so wild. And if Lindsay's whole thing is like, it's inappropriate, like that he's friends with you, I'm like, isn't Lindsay's whole thing that she's like friends with the guys? Isn't she like
She's like, well, you know, I'm probably going to be kissing Austin for the rest of my life. That's just like what our relationship is.
You know, like the same person saying that is now afraid of Maya trying to have a sexual relationship with Carl. I just feel like that's so hypocritical.
Right. And we hear Lindsay's side later, but I'll leave it for later. So, but right now it's like, Lindsay, what the fuck, you know? And so Gabby's like, oh my God, like all of you lured me into this false sense of security because like I just talked to all of you and you were like, everything's fine. And now you're like making them sound like murderers.
It's like you told me this house was a Leo, but it's actually a Taurus.
This house is like Mercury rising, bitches, okay? And then Maya, I'm just pointing this out because it becomes a point of contention later in the season. Maya goes, you didn't hear that from me, bitch. Because later in the season, Lindsay's like, did you just call me a bitch? So I'm just putting it into evidence that Maya just casually says that. Okay, so calm down already, Lindsay. Yeah. So then Maya's like, to be fair, after she came for me, she texted me like, hey, babe, are we good? And I'm like, you just came for my entire life? Are we good? And like, no, we're not good.
Yeah. So I did not see that coming. I didn't see Maya really having a feud with anyone because Maya's just like the chill one. But of course, it's Lindsay. She can always get into a feud with anyone. So now,
well, it's also reality TV, and it's season two Maya. So we'll see.
Season 2 Maya.
Yep.
So now we have Sam. The new Sam is a lady.
Content creator.
Content creator.
Sam. Content creator.
Sam is such a content creator. I'm already obsessed with Sam because I can tell she's totally ridiculous. She's like you know, she gets the Goop newsletters and she reads them too, right? She didn't just sign up and they come and she deletes them immediately. She just sits and reads them.
She reads them, but then she also like has like scathing commentary on them, you know? You know she does. Scathing commentary. You know, she'll be like, oh my God, did you guys read Goop? Embarrassing. Like, is Gwyneth even trying? Like, was this intern written or what? Am I right? Like, are we having Chat GPT or whatever write our newsletters now? I mean, come on, Gwen. Come on, Gwen.
Chat Goop PT. Oh, I would love. Oh, I need to sign up for that because I want to have something described to me in the style of Goop. But you know that she's sort of like, I feel like she weaves in how on trend she is. Like she wouldn't say, have you tried hard kombucha? She would say, you know, I used to really love hard kombucha, but it gives me migraines, so I just can't do it anymore. Like,
I'm more into soft kombucha now.
Yeah, soft kombucha.
So I love that she comes in and says, see, I'm content creator, and this is so Paige. She goes, did you knock or just walk in?
She goes, oh, I just walked in. Now, I don't want to say this show is about white privilege, but could there be any more white privilege than this white girl just walking into a house in the Hamptons without knocking?
It is her house. She is paying for it. But just Paige starts with that question. Did you knock or just walk in?
So then Paige goes, how old are you? She goes, I just turned 25. And Paige goes, oh, tell me everything about you. And I was like, oh, Paige hates her. When Paige says, tell me everything about you, that means Paige just needs to take some notes and decide how to assess what buckets to put you in and then just destroy you.
And Sam goes, grew up in Jersey, obsessed with Cosmo growing up. I was also a dancer. I was like doing ballet here. I went to college for journalism. I came to the city all the time. So when I was 18, I had a career. I mean, it was amazing. Like, it was a great time. I immediately started working at Cosmo. That's right, buried the lead. Okay, I got the job. That was my dream as a dancing child. I would do ballets dreaming of being in Cosmo. Isn't that crazy? Like, here I am at Cosmo, so that was...
I did a grand jeté for Helen Burley Brown. And let me tell you something. Immediately signed Cosmo Girl. I'm sorry, I buried the lead there. Also won an Oscar. Crazy, right? I did a short film about short films. It was very meta. They loved it. Got an Oscar. Crazy.
Yeah. Fucking Sam. And Paige is like, I did tell her to tell me everything I didn't mean from conception, but...
In a weird way, Sam kind of reminded me of Daphne from White Lotus. Like there was something about the mannerisms, like a more content creatory Daphne. Like I see Sam's path in life is that she winds up as Daphne. I'm just putting that out there. We're gonna observe more, but just want everyone to know.
I'm the New York stereotype. I work hard, I play hard. I wake up at 7, 10,000 steps in before 10, work for literally 10 hours, go to dinner, go to a club till 3 a.m., and then guess what I do? I start over.
Also, I have a raging cocaine addiction because that's the only way I can do all that. Right. Also, I liked when she said, I'm the New York stereotype of work hard, play hard. And when she says work hard, play hard, they show a photo, like one from column A, one from column B, but both are just her just like sitting around.
Yeah, posing. They're like Instagram poses. One is her in like a really pretty dress sitting at a window, and then one is her just standing on a private plane posing. Like, look, I'm on a private plane. I'm thinking of the time I was a dancer dreaming of being Cosmo before I was at Cosmo. It's amazing. Amazing flight.
Yeah, I stood on my tippy toes for a very long time. Ballet, you know. So then, Peter, guess what Carl and Lindsay drive up in? That's the summer house.
Babe.
It's a Kia.
It's a Kia.
We're going to
Kia,
drive
babe.
a Kia.
It's a Kia.
It wasn't the Kia that I'm obsessed with, the Sportage, but like it was close enough.
I think it's a Sportage.
Sportage?
I think so. Did the people at the dealership call it a Sportage? I think it's a Kia Sportage.
I think they were saying Sportage, but you know what? I also was the one who taught them how to use some of the. Okay, on the test drive, I was like, "Can you move these icons around on the display?" And the guy's like, "No, I don't think so. Let me look." And he's like filling through the menus, and I'm like, I did like a page to sort about. I go, I think you just touch this, and I like rearrange the icons. He goes, "Oh, I learned something new." I was like, "Yeah, thanks." Did you
so you don't work on commission, or?
I was like, "Thanks." Thanks for when I want to say this. I texted the guy and before I left IKEA, and I said, "Do you still have any of those Kia, those like Sportage hybrids left?" And he goes, "I'll check." And then I was like, "I'm not going to drive over there if they don't." So I waited there for 5 minutes. If I had just gone over, if you just texted me back, then maybe I would have gotten it. I would have gotten it if you just texted me back. But to be fair, when I got to the lot, I saw the guy who I was texting with, and he was clearly dealing with a mafioso. And I was like, okay, I understand why he couldn't really focus on me. He would have probably been killed. So
oh my God, I love that the mafia is like into Kia now. It was like shit you don't see coming.
It was like velour jumpsuit. I was like in Glendale, velour jumpsuit. You know the situation.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll give you a pass on this one only because your knees / life may have depended on it. But I just want you to know, if you had texted me 5 minutes earlier, I could have beaten that couple with the bell ringing in my face.
Oh God. So Sam goes outside and she sees she's getting her stuff, and she sees Carl and Lindsay, and she goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Sam from Cosmo. Oh, I'm gonna hug you."
And Carl goes, "Carl, pleasure. You look great. Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say who and who doesn't look great anymore, but I could imagine that an independent person would come in here and say you look great, but I personally have no opinion on that fact. Sorry, Linz.
Your soul seems kind, by the way. So,
she's like, yeah, I'm gonna hug you, and Lindsay goes, love that. So they come to the kitchen and say hi to everybody, and it's super awkward. And Lindsay's doing that thing where she's talking way too loud because no one's really wooing. You know what I mean? So she's talking like she's talking over woos that aren't happening. She's like, "It took us only 100 hours."
Woos that aren't happening. She's like, "Just manifest the woos."
Yeah, she's like, imagine, like, "Oh my God, it's Lindsay and Carl, wow!" And that's not happening, but she's talking over it like it is.
I think everyone's just confused why she's wearing a blazer. Well, now that I'm an adult, I wear a blazer to the Hamptons.
Yeah.
So,
and she sees Maya, and she goes, "Hi, Maya. Like the blonde, is that new? Like for summer? Like new for summer?" And Paige goes, "Before we came into the summer, I texted Lindsay, I do not care about anything we've ever fought about." And she said, "Me neither." And I'd like to think of that as a testament to my own maturity. So I've done my time. I'm done. Like, right. We'll see. I'm setting my 10-minute kitchen timer, babe.
Exactly. And then Carl and Maya hug, which is like, ooh, they're hugging. And it's always funny when Carl hugs like the girls because they're so much shorter than he is. He sort of looks like one of those chicken things that like dip down to get the water. And then they come back up again, and they dip back down again. It's like, oh, I'm coming in for a hug. Oh, I'm not going to drop the water in the process.
It's actually terrifying. But I could see one of those things dating a cardboard cutout of Lindsay. So it makes that is the couple they're becoming. So Amanda's like, oh my God, guys, there's only 5 bedrooms. And Kyle's like, it's like Summer House 2012. So Paige goes, I'm sweating. Amanda goes, take it off, Paige. You've had a moment. It's over.
It's like, don't worry. Your look has been registered by the cameras. It's going to be in the show. Now you can actually relax. So then outside, Kyle's with Lindsay and Carl outside. And Lindsay's like, well,
So there's like 3 dudes, and then there's like you 2, and then so it's you 2 and Chris, right?
And Kyle's like, yeah, Chris is a good guy. He's a good guy. Just be careful with your knuckles. If you knock on that hair, it's like kind of bruise it a little bit. Your knuckles, that is.
Yeah. She's like, so 100 girls and 3 dudes? And Carl's like, oh, I wanted cool dudes to hang with. I mean, no offense to him, but like, we've had a long ride. Right? Me and Kyle. Like, I need other dudes. And he tells us that I love Kyle, but we work together, and TBH, it's Rocky. So I'm figuring out if Loverboy is like really for me. So, yeah, just mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of like figure out, like, is Loverboy still for me, or do I want to go back to a life of being mostly unemployed, then finding a job, and then being unemployed again right after?
Yeah, it's really hard not to think about the times I was selling dental equipment door to door. I mean, God, those were the days.
Those were the days. Yeah, we did finish each other's sentence.
Hey, Carl, I'd like to suggest a job possibly at a Kia dealership because I've got a customer here for you right now.
Yeah, so I hear you're interested in a Sportage, the 2023 Sportage Prestige.
You stop it. You stop. You're
Bueller wants a Kia
bark.
too.
You can't, no barking. That is your friend who's out there. You don't bark at him, okay? You like him. You don't bark at people you like, you crazy man. No, you don't need to be growling about it or nothing, okay? You relax about it.
Bueller's like, woof, that's my friend, but things have been kind of weird the past 9 months. Woof, woof.
He's like, I was hoping for some other friends to hang out with. No offense, bro.
So Kyle's like, I propose a nighttime pool party, so who's gonna cook? And the guy's like,
we're guys, we'll cook, we're dudes.
And Gabby goes, if you need editorials on the food, I can help you out.
Yeah. So now outside, Carl's like, oh, we got a new grill. Oh. And then he's like going to like set it up, and Chris is like, whoa, don't put your face in there. There you go. So I'm like, oh, I can sort of, I was like, to me, that like one moment said everything about Chris to me. I was like, oh, he's the guy who's going to like mansplain where to put your face in your grill. To be fair, Carl did have he was fully like Sylvia Plathing.
Carl does put his face in things, you know, like the chicken that bends down to get the water or whatever, like you were describing earlier, just like.
It's like, I felt like in some ways Chris was he's like sort of mansplaining, but at the same time, I also feel like he might be the responsible one of the house. I mean, he was a Marine, we find out. So either way, I was like, I felt like I understood something about him in that moment.
I just thought straight guy, because he did that thing all guys do. Okay, first him and Carl walk over to the grill, and then Carl puts his face in it and goes, "Bro, it's a grill. Don't put your face in it." And he's like, "Yeah." And then Chris goes, "So, burgers?" And Carl goes, "Kebabs." And they're like, yeah. They just nodded at each other like, that's all we need to know about each other, brah. We're in charge.
Kebabs tonight. And then, we have an announcement. Oh, this is a very important announcement from Amanda. I have an onion. I'm going to do chunks of onion.
I put, girls make kebabs. So they all like line up, and Lindsay's like, so what beverages do we have in general? And Paige goes, we have Coca-Cola. And Sam goes, rosé. And Paige says, well, Lindsay doesn't drink, you know. And Lindsay's like, yes, I do. I mean, Carl is sober, so I went like sober, but like that was then, and like this is now, and everything's fine. Like, okay, let me just tell you, like, I went sober for like 5 months, but then it was Easter and I was out with Aunt Rhonda. And then everyone's like, oh, like even the girls who don't know, just that word Aunt Rhonda, everybody's like, oh, Aunt Rhonda must be a pistol.
Yeah, and she goes, and I was like, I really want to have a glass of wine with AR. And Sam goes, well, that'll get ya. And which is very folksy of her as a content creator. Maybe she's into like normcore, folkscore. And so Lindsay's like, she's like, well, so now I drink again, but like I don't black out. Like that's the best way I can say it. I'm like, so you drink?
Yeah,
it's like she makes it sound like she's just sort of drinking delicately. I'm like, there's like a lot of leeway between having like a sip of wine versus not blacking out. versus blacking out.
Yeah. So Sam's like, okay, cool. And Amanda goes, want a glass? I can pour you one. And she pours her a like a glass as big as her head and hands it over. I was like, oh, here we go. So Kyle sets stuff up outside with the guys. And Chris is like, I'm a guy, so we've already talked about meat. I guess I'll take out the trash. And Gabby's like, oh, you don't have to do that. And Maya goes, don't tell him what to do. Go ahead and take it, Chris. Take it. Why would you stop somebody from taking out trash?
Trash is an ongoing issue in this house. So, like, if someone volunteers to take it out, you just let them do it.
Yeah.
So then they're talking about the room situation, and Paige is saying, like, maybe this summer no one has, like, a designated room. Everyone just sort of floats around, from week to week. And Carl's like, yeah, maybe it's a swinger house. Ah. And then it cuts to Lindsay and Carl just scowling, like, how can you talk about swingers? We have a couple in the house. That's rude.
I put Maya and Lindsay share a look. Like, oh, really? You think that that's an invitation for you to try to steal my man?
So then Carl's like, hey, Chris, let me give you a tour of the house. Okay, I'll show you the ropes, like whatever you need. Like, so this is a room. I don't know if you know about the concept of rooms, but this is a room, 4 walls, a door, window, pretty standard kind of room. Just showing you the ropes, He's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, I got it. It's like, it's a room. He goes, so what time do you wake up? 7 a.m. Yeah, because we're doing Barry's boot camp in the morning at 8. That's sort of our personality now. So yeah.
So are they talking about sharing a room? Is that what's going on? So Chris goes, okay, well, I guess we'll just see how the night goes. And Carl's like, oh, you do Barry's boot camp? And he goes, yeah, I do real boot camp. He goes, oh, what's that? You're a Marine? You're a Marine? Like, seriously, you're a Marine right now? And Chris is like, yeah, hoo-ah.
Carl gets, by the way, he like his like CPU like like needs some buffering. He's like, you're a
ultimate bro.
Simplify.
Yeah, he's having flashbacks to his ultimate bro. Herbert.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I like how Chris goes, yeah, hoo-ah. This is funny. I've never heard it like that. Yeah, hoo-ah. Hey, hoo-ah.
He's like, it's the Hamptons. You have to be refined.
That is the most Hamptonsy hoo-ah I've ever heard. Hoo-ah.
That's like how I imagine Ina Garten doing it, like down the street. Be like, hoo-ah. How easy is that?
Even Jeffrey could do it.
I'm going to give you the tips to how to storm into a country without even getting a bruise. How easy is that?
So Chris is like, yeah, my brothers were in the Marine Corps. My uncles were in the Marine Corps. My great uncles, my great brothers, my grandparents, step uncles. So hoo-ah. Am I right, guys? I see a lot of crazy stuff being from the war. So I just choose to see the positive, right? Because you can complain every day or you can be grateful every day. So...
Like, well, congratulations. You're in a house full of people who are complaining every day.
I know. I was just kind of dotting that because I'm like...
The vibe in this house sucks.
I was just waiting for the reason to be grateful every day. I was like, so are you going to tell me why I should not complain every day? Or is this a lesson? I feel like Chris is trying to give me lessons and they're just maybe not phrased right, or I can't take them because of his hairdo. I'm not really sure what's happening, but... Every time Chris talks, it ends in a ... for me.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm going to be grateful. So to that very sweet and lovely couple ringing that bell at the Kia dealership, I am grateful for you too, because you made me feel an emotion that day and I knew I was alive.
I find the best way to be grateful is to complain, because when you complain, it leads to you being grateful just because you feel guilty that you've just dumped so much negativity on somebody. Like I do with you. Like when we start talking, I'm like, oh, you won't believe this shit. So this person said they were going to do this. They didn't. What a motherfucker. I know what I'm expected to pick it up. But, you know, everything is going great, and I have a lot to be grateful for. So thanks for listening to that, Ben.
I have a question. I'm getting spam messages on my Skype. It's like penis.
Oh my God, boobs.
Do you hear it? Do you hear these messages coming in? It's like, bwee, bwee, bwee. I just want to know if people are hearing it. If you're like, what the hell is that noise?
I'm not hearing it, but I have gotten some boob lady who's like, can we translate this chat? And I was like, no, you can tell me you want to fuck me in English. Come on.
Yeah. Mine says, meet your girlfriend something. Find me on Girls for Fuck. I'm like, could you at least put some effort into your spam? I'm not looking for girlfriends. I mean, I'm in a very happy relationship, but at least target me properly, for crying out loud.
I do like Girls for Fuck, though. That's a good website, you know? That's like someone who was really thinking ahead when they were on the Host Monster looking for a website name.
It's great. You guys did a great job.
Girls for Fucking.
Girls for Fucking. Yeah.
So get right to it.
Yeah. So now Maya trips on a carpet, and then Gabby, they're just like all getting into their room, and Gabby's like calling dibs on like parts of the closet, and she's like, and they're like, Paige is like, wait, you're gonna like take all the best spots. She goes, no, I'm an equal opportunist. I warned you that that's what I was going to do, and it's up to you at this point of what you want to do next.
Yeah. So then Paige gets into her Lindsay stuff. She's like, so, was it awkward with Lindsay, Maya? You should talk to Carl. I think you should definitely pull Carl aside and not invite Lindsay into the conversation. She'll love that. So just make sure you do it when you're all in a group situation. Lindsay can see you, and then pull Carl aside. She's going to love it. And he'll be very receptive. And I'm sure he misses you. I mean, he looks like he misses you. And she's like, I mean, I'm not really trying to make it worse. Oh, no. I mean, if she's dictating who he can be friends with, that's a bigger issue. And we'll have to save Carl. She's like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, nothing can go wrong. So then in the other room, Amanda and Kyle are like putting on bathing suits. She like doesn't want to put one on because it's cold out, and Kyle's singing about like, where have you seen my penis? And she's like, where did it go? They're singing back and forth. And then now like downstairs, Kyle goes downstairs, and Carl is like doing dishes. He's like cleaning dishes over in the corner in the kitchen, and Kyle is talking to him about setting up a speaker because he's like, so I was thinking like I would aim the speaker towards the kitchen because that's where most people are. Thinking like that, I think that would work. And Carl's like, I don't know. And it's like, he like doesn't, he's like, it's
just
like silence.
Silent. Yeah, and he's facing away from Kyle, you know, so he's just silent. And Kyle's like, oh, but I just feel like we're in the kitchen. So if, you know, we could maybe need less volume if it's like pointed at us. And he's just ignored.
Carl just doesn't say anything then.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, yeah, I know, it's like so Kyle, right? Doesn't it sound like so Kyle what I just said? And Carl just ignores him. And Gabby comes in, she's like, what is going on? And Kyle's like, I'm a geek. And Carl goes, oh, hope you like music, because it gets pretty loud. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It'll adjust at some point, which to me, I feel like I detected some passive aggression there.
Yeah.
Like, right?
I don't like this. And now he's going to show up and be mean to Kyle.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Carl is the one who's being a bigger dick to Kyle here because Kyle's actually trying to talk to Carl, and like Carl just ignored him. And then also earlier when Carl was like, oh shit, we're the only three guys. I was hoping to hang out with different guys. So Carl is definitely the one who's giving Kyle more of the cold shoulder.
Carl's being a dick, and listen, even if you don't like him over something that happened at work, which I guess is their storyline this season because Carl announced this week that he no longer works at Loverboy. Even if that's the case, Kyle hired you when nobody else would. Like, he really came through for you. So you need to watch your shit, sir. Okay?
And on top of that, Carl was like really, he was sort of going on benders on the job, right? And Kyle still sort of like kept an eye out for him and sort of did not throw him out, right? Like,
I have a feeling this is going to all come back to, you didn't stand up for me in my relationship in the winter house. Like, people were coming for me and you didn't stand up for me, which is kind of Lindsay using Carl by proxy to fight everybody else in the house. I mean, if you're dating Lindsay, who is basically against everybody in the house every season, she's at least against half the house every season, then it's going to lead to a lot of problems, that you're in the middle of just by proxy.
Yeah, I think, I'm interested to see what the core of this is. Because, the thing is, Kyle says later on that things started to change around April. And I have to imagine I think that's around when the reunion filmed or aired. So it probably is fallout from the reunion. And I, of course, remember nothing from the reunion except that Paige was really mad and had slick back hair. And that Lindsay and Carl was like really taking up for Lindsay at that reunion. And I don't remember what Kyle said to him, but like clearly it's beef from the reunion.
Yeah. So whatever it is, Carl's kind of looking like an asshole to me. So then,
Lindsay comes downstairs and she's like, I kind of feel underdressed for tonight's pool party. And Carl goes, of course, babe, you look great. If you want, I could be underdressed too, so we can match.
Cool.
And Gabby feels her boobs, and she's like, your boobs are like soft. She's like, yeah, they were done a long time ago, so they really had time to settle in. And Carl's like, are you touching my girlfriend's boobs? I'm going to touch them too.
Hey, do you think those speakers are going to be too loud for their boobs? Because I'll totally talk to Kyle about it.
Now that I'm an adult, I don't like loud music. So then the girls are outside, and Maya's talking about how she is still dating Oliver, and she actually loves Oliver. She's like, I love Oliver, which is really nice. For some reason, I thought they had broken up. I don't know why I got that impression, but they're still together, which is really cute. And then Chris is talking to Sam, and he's like, so, are you naturally blonde? I dig it. She's like, yeah, naturally blonde. Funny story. So I was like, in Cosmo, and an entire jar of ink toner fell on my head. That's right. They keep their ink toner in jars there. It's crazy. They're just like on the cutting edge of fashion. And it fell on my hair. My hair turned black and everyone thought I was a brunette, but I'm naturally blonde. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of backstory for a simple question.
He's like, thanks for the invite to sit down. She goes, oh, you're right. I definitely didn't do that. Sorry. He's like, I'm the guy who made kebabs. So rethink. Hooah.
Made kebabs.
Hooah, okay.
Yeah.
So then
BKE, big kebab energy.
Carl is so Maya wants to pull Carl aside, right? So she does, and of course Lindsay's like got a tight smile, like, oh my god, I'm totally fine with this. I don't really even care that they're talking right now. And so Carl's like,
I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, we haven't spoken since LA, so I mean, you want to speak, but I haven't spoken to you since LA, so.
Hope you're not feeling salty about the fact that we didn't choose you to do the bonus round on the feud. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that.
But you literally answered chocolate chip to every question, so.
Like when they asked what's the average age that you retire and you said chocolate chip, it just didn't work. I'm just like, what are you doing, Ma?
Yeah. She's like, well, I was told it was not appropriate to speak to you, but like I've never been talked to like Lindsay's. She's like the female Carl. She's got like Carl kind of cadence. She's like, I've never been like talked to like Lindsay spoke to me. She spoke to me like I was like not a human. Like I'd come to you and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I've always had a friendship with you. Like I never tried to even touch you. And he's like, oh, I never thought that. Like I never thought like you were coming out of there. And she's like, yeah, but for like that to be said, that was hurtful, Carl. It was hurtful.
So Carl right now is doing that thing where the Carl side of him wants to be like, oh, so sorry, didn't mean that. But the boyfriend side of him is like, I know if I say that, it'll seem like I'm not being loyal to Lindsay. So it's like, well, I guess, I'm just like learning that as well. Like, I mean, I just learned that Chris is like, I'm a Marine, so like, I didn't know that either. There's like a lot of stuff happening. So like, I just need like a moment, it's like a lot for me right now,
And she's like, but Carl, I like care for you. And he's like, well, I mean, like, I wasn't in the car with you girls, but at the same time, like, my priority is her. So you need to know that. If I'm going to choose a fight, side in this fight is going to be the cardboard cutout that leers over me at night. So.
Yeah. So nurse hard palpitations does not take rejection well. So I just want to say if my voice gets really loud right now, it has nothing to do with you. But like I take my girlfriend's side. Saying that out loud, so it goes over the backyard. Okay, back.
And this is kind of that side of Carl that we see when he starts being mean to girls, like when he's flirting with them and then he gets really cold with them. And we're seeing this with how he's treating Maya. You know, he gets like that coldness to him. And she's like, well, I get it. I mean, do what's best for you. And he goes, yeah. She goes, okay. And he goes, well, I'm just telling you like it is. Okay.
She goes, I said, okay. My question is, Carl has a history of, you know, he does the fuckboy thing of where he flirts with girls, they fall for him, they hook up, and then he says, I just want to take it slow, but they get like attached, and then because he doesn't want them to be attached, he then starts basically going around the house making it seem like they're crazy and they're clingy. And I wonder if he's going to do that to Maya in this situation.
I'm curious.
Was that behavior kind of like wrapped up with his drinking?
I don't think everything can be just blamed on drinking. I'm not.
I agree.
I'm just that kind of person, like who I don't like to like say anything. I don't think it's fair game to blame anything on drinking, really, except the extreme stuff. You know, I think that takes your defenses down. You know, so to where you'll be. I'm definitely less filtered, but I'm not myself.
I guess
when I'm drinking. You know.
You know what? I shouldn't say his drinking, but the person he was when he was drinking, in the sense of like whatever the insecurities were, whatever the demons he had that were driving him to like drink really hard, maybe could have been the same demons that were fueling a fuckboy existence. And the question is whether or not like how much of like that fuckboy existence has been left behind in that era and how much carries through now is sort of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
I'm interested to see like, for as much as he said, like, this is the new grown-up Carl, I'm interested to see how he treats her over the course of the summer now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because now it's not fuckboy, it's just general treatment to people, you know, because he can't do the fuckboy thing.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see.
Situation.
Well, so I'm super interested in this Lindsay thing because we still haven't heard from Lindsay about all this, and now I'm confused because Carl is acting like, well... Like, oh, I'm sorry, I broke up with you, basically, with Maya. And I don't know why he's acting like that. So Lindsay, of course, immediately pulls Carl. And she's like, what happened? And he said, well, she was clearly upset. Like, she felt she wasn't able to be friends with me because of, like, how everything went down in law. You know, like, the issue that you guys had. And she goes, I'm allowed to set boundaries without feeling guilty in my own relationship? And I was like, yeah, but your boundaries are with your boyfriend. You don't get to set boundaries for other people. Fucking weirdo.
And wasn't all of so much of last season with Sierra and Lindsay, wasn't that about this is devil's advocate, okay? I'm not taking any sort of like Sierra side, but like wasn't Sierra with Austin also about setting boundaries? And Lindsay was like, whatever, we already had our thing. So now Lindsay is suddenly setting boundaries. I'm just saying there's something a little hypocritical to me about this coming from Lindsay, which is of course classic Lindsay, which is why we love her.
So she's telling us, I don't expect Maya to know exactly what's going on in Carl's life, but I do expect her to have respect to ask about it because Carl was struggling with sobriety around the holidays, and then I literally got sober to support him, and then I have Maya literally doing the opposite. So she's saying that the problem is she gets sober to help Carl because Carl is having trouble with sobriety, and then Maya's offering Carl drugs. So she's making it sound like she wasn't mad that Maya was flirting. She's mad that Maya is trying to throw Carl off of his sobriety path. And then we find out that Carl was California sober.
That's what,
not sober. So then it becomes, now we see why there's some defensiveness in it because we know from watching these shows, when you go on national television and say you're sober, you have people watching you like a hawk and then being like, you're not sober. No, I saw you do this. And what kind of sober are you? And blah, 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 ripping you apart. Mainly me, every other scene going, so you still do coke, right?
But Ronnie, there's so many lessons you can learn about being sober and then not being sober anymore.
But we find out it's coming up at some point where Carl says that he's California sober, aka he still smokes weed. So I'm confused why.
Well, at that time he was. So I guess when he was struggling with his sobriety,
maybe he
then
wasn't.
Lindsay was like, "No, that's not being sober." And then you've got Maya offering him a chance to get high or something. And so she's saying she was basically sticking up for Carl's sobriety, but they're making Maya's making it sound like it was a jealous relationship thing.
But also, like, I think that when Maya said the story, that it was like a throwaway joke. I don't know. I'm going to sneeze right now, so you just talk.
What was the throwaway joke?
The joint thing. The joint, when she said, like, oh, I'm so mad, let's go smoke a J, right? Wasn't that what she said happened at Family Feud?
Yeah, but she said that she and Carl used to smoke all the time together. So she was telling Lindsay we should just all get together and smoke, Well, and then Lindsay got mad, I guess, because it was sobriety. So anyway, that's where we're at with that fight. Who knows?
Lindsay goes,
I will not tolerate another summer of everything being on Lindsay. I'm the adult here.
and Carl's like, yeah, I know.
And well, you know what? You got to grow up at some point and have an adult conversation.
So now Lindsay's all about throwing around the word adult. I'm the adult here, and you've got to have adult conversations. We are adults now. We go to pumpkin patches, okay? Mention pumpkin patches again.
And we kick the tires before we go on a hayride. And that's how we do it. Adults. So now it's 12:05 a.m. and Kyle's like, guys, it's that time of night. These shot glasses ain't strobing for nothing. It's like a round together around here. Poor Kyle is partying like it's 1999, and everyone else has heard the word adults bandied about so much by Lindsay that they're just tired. Everyone else just wants to go to bed.
They are, and like at 12:13 a.m., everyone goes to bed. It's also apparently cold out. I don't know. So then Kyle is, he's like, well, I'm going to do a sound test with the speakers. And then Chris goes, oh, so my ears are sensitive, so let me get out of the vicinity. You just know Kyle is like, this is going to be the worst summer ever.
And Carl's walking around going,
are you going to come to Barry's tomorrow? Because it's at 8 a.m. and there's still some good spots. There's still some good spots. So if anybody wants to come, you're welcome to come. Okay, good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Okay.
Hey, does anyone want to wake up really early on a weekend and go somewhere where they could like feel like they're going to pass out and puke all at the same time? It seems it'll be really fun. Yeah.
And Kyle's like, what the hell? Carl was sober last summer and he wasn't running around with a clipboard like, you going to Barry's? You going to Barry's? You going to Barry's?
Yeah, it's like, if this is the new normal, I'm going to jump out the window. And Paige goes, what a weird first day. Kind of makes me miss Des. It's that weird.
And Maya goes, I can't even talk about it. So then Carl and Lindsay, Carl's being weird in the room. She's like, how can I help you? And he's like,
just love me, babe.
She's like, I do love you, babe.
Say babe again.
Babe.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love
you.
So then Amanda's talking to the girls. She goes, did you know that Leonardo da Vinci stayed in this house? And Paige is like, Leonardo DiCaprio, you stupid idiot. I can't believe this is who I'm left with.
And Gabby's like, yeah. I'm like, that's not even possible.
And then I feel like your favorite thing is watching Kyle binge eating in the kitchen late at night when he's drunk.
Talking to himself. I don't claim to have a weakness. I'm just checking out cookie dough balls. I just can't sit here and wait for a cookie. Oh, wait, no. I got a fucking keto diet. Oh, yeah, keto bar. Keto. What are they putting in there? Because it's not keto, I'll tell you that much. Fucking weirdo.
Towel drops. So now it's Saturday at 7 a.m. and Carl tells us, Lindsay's always like, she's always been such a light in my life. Like, there are very few people I've dated where I can be completely myself. With her, I literally can be Carl. And she likes that. I'm happy. I'm in love. It's just Carl. Pure, undiluted Carl.
Pure unadulterated Carl, 100%. Yeah, raw Carl.
Raw Carl. Carl at his most Carl self. All the weight is put on me at all the times. Yeah, put your weight on me.
So then they leave for the workout, and then it just shows them coming right back from the workout.
They always do that. There was so much talk about this Barry's workout that I actually almost wanted to see them working out, but they just go and they come back.
Yeah. So the girls are talking on the bed, and Sam feels like everyone was so welcoming. And then Paige is like, yeah, well, there was an underlying presence with Carl and Lindsay and Maya last night. How'd that go? And Gabby's like, yeah, that was like a very present. It felt like when they came in, everyone just like tensed up a bit. It was nuts.
Yeah. And then Chris has come back from a run, and he's like all sweaty, and he's like,
Did you get hit by a mail truck?
he's like, actually, almost twice.
Oh, good, because I was driving it. I was really aiming for you. Sorry.
That's such a crazy. So then Carl's like laying down on the couch, and Lindsay passes by, and he goes, babe. And she goes, oh, hi. And he goes, I was just rushing my eyes. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I sensed that like there was like a babe presence, so I was like, babe. And you were there. Worked out well.
So Amanda's saying that it looks like Kyle's sad because he lost his buddy. And Gabby's like, oh my God, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And then,
sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this is the scene, right, where Carl and Lindsay are in the living room, sort of like standing, talking to themselves, and Kyle's in the kitchen, and they're like, it's one of these like, it's like a European foreign, it was like a foreign film where it's like two people standing so close, but so far away from each other, you know, like so many things not being said. And they're kind of just like, basically they were ignoring Kyle. And then they just like walk out of the room, and then Carl walks out of the room, and he like looks over to Kyle, but doesn't say anything. He just leaves.
Yeah.
Sad.
So sad, you guys. Then they're all getting ready, and Carl's on the bed, and Lindsay's getting ready, and he goes, oh, I like this view. She's like, oh my God, you like it? I like being viewed. And then they kissed, and he goes, you're so freaking pretty. So then Sam is with the girls, and she twirls around in a bathing suit, and Amanda and Gabby at the same time go, wow. And she goes, thank you. Thank you.
I learned that at Juilliard. So then Amanda is using the flat iron on the back of Kyle's mullet, making it look all nice and fluffed up and everything. And then Paige is like, oh, bad news, Maya. I can't drink tequila anymore. It makes me gag. It's like, oh, that's because I gave you a shot of balsamic by accident. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, I'm good with tequila then.
So they all pile into cars to go party. And of course, it's Hampton's party, so it's a huge magnum of rosé for Chris to dance around with. So they all party, and Amanda talks about how she did Kyle's hair. And then Maya's like, so Chris and you, Sam are chatting. And Chris is like, oh no, she's like, so Chris, you and Sam are chatting. He's like, it's a vibe, hoo-ah. Yeah, hoo-ah.
Yeah, and she's like, give me one tequila shot, and I'm like off the deep end immediately. Oh my God, this one time I was talking to Anna Wintour, and I was like, bitch, how are you? Because I was drunk. It was terrible.
So Carl's like, hey, get your friend here. Didn't you say your friend was going to come, Chris? We need more dates. Without speakers. Tell them not to bring a Bluetooth speaker, please.
Make sure they don't run beverage companies and aren't from New Hampshire and don't have a name that rhymes with pile. Okay, right.
No mullets. Anyone. No mullets allowed, okay? Dudes without mullets. Okay.
Yeah.
So Maya and Paige and Amanda are talking, and they're like, who's this best friend, you know? And so then Paige is talking about how there's pressure about who's moving to who, Craig or Paige. Like, who's going to move? Everybody really cares. And then Gabby and Kyle are talking, and Kyle's like, so, you know, like you're new here, so I want to get to know you. She goes, actually, I'm like really shallow. He goes, wait, I'm sorry, you said just shallow. You heard it right. Like, there's really not a lot going on. It's like a male model is like my ideal type. And if I'm being honest, it's not really working out well for me because, like, here I am single, but they're hot. So,
yeah. So they decide they're going to do a lap, and she's going to point out everyone that's her type. And pretty much at that moment, Chris's friend Jerez shows up, and he is gorgeous. And so Carl's like, hey, what's up, dude? What are you, like 6'5"? Why, you're 6'5"? He's like, yeah, I'm just like a little bit shorter. Like, yeah, but you're not like 5'8" and run like anything called like Loverboy, right? So like, cool, let's be best friends. Yeah, hey.
And Gabby goes, oh my God, I didn't realize I could manifest the kind of guy I was looking for. I'm a witch. So she's telling Lindsay, Lindsay's like, oh my God, new person, look at us, talking, porcupine. And Gabby's like, yeah, that guy's hot, but like, I'm like, you gotta come to me. And Lindsay's like, oh my God, what do we do? There's a guy. I'm the adult. I'm gonna go gawk at him. Come on.
Yes, they walk over because it's Chris, Carl, and is it Jerez? Jerez, I think his name is Jerez. And then Lindsay walks over and goes, what's all this noise about? And Gabby goes, yeah, what's all this noise? I was like, great lines, ladies.
And Chris goes, this is my friend Jerez, who's single, and she's taken, so don't worry about her. And she's an adult, which is like gross. And it's like, that's right. Don't make me sick Auntie Rhonda after you. I'll do it. AR coming on the way, party town.
So then it starts to rain. We never see Jerez again, which is very disappointing. And then
I like that they go, so how did you meet Jerez? And then Chris goes, salsa dancing, baby. And then Jerez and Chris both start salsa dancing.
I know, which is what people in salsa class do.
That's so cute that like two hot bros met at salsa dancing class.
And they were like, wait, you're like a hot bro. Yeah. And you're a hot bro. We should probably be hot bros together. Okay, cool. Let's be hot bros. Yeah.
And you know they've had that talk like, it's not enough to just be a bro anymore. You got to be a bro with skills. Hence, salsa. And now they're both on TV. And you know that one of them was like, told you, bro. That's just the extra edge. My special skills said salsa, and here I am, a national television star now. Who? Wah!
But I do feel like people in salsa classes often like to then bust out salsa moves like anytime because they're excited to show off what they've just learned. So they'll just be on the bank and like Amy Grant will be playing. They'll be like, oh yeah, there's a beat. I hear a drum. And then just start doing salsa. I'm like, you're in salsa class, aren't you? Yeah. I'm just taking this class. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, that's how I do every time I'm back in tap class. Every few years, I go back to tap class. And then everywhere I am, I just start tap dancing. I'm like, sorry guys, it's just muscle memory. Just working on that muscle memory. Yeah, it's taking a class. Yeah, it's like second nature, so whatever. Yeah. Enjoy this dinner party though. This is fun. Flat ball change. I'm sorry.
So Maya and Kyle are talking because it's raining. So they're in a cabana while it's raining. So Kyle's all sad, and Maya goes, does the rain equate to how you felt yesterday? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, of all the nights to spend in the Hamptons, last night was the lamest day of all time by 100 miles. And I'm trying to put my finger on what it was.
Maya literally points at Lindsay and Carl. She goes, it's them. He goes, yeah, but like those are my two best friends dating. Like you'd think I'd be jumping up and down. Yeah, but the mood is like impacted by all of this. He goes, I thought it was just me. I mean, this guy just officiated my wedding and now he doesn't even care where a speaker faces.
Since April, Carl has been checked out. Like obviously there's a new influence in his life and I'm so scared to death to talk to him. And like, that's why I'm avoiding him. I want Carl and Lindsay to be amazing together and I don't want him to think I don't support him. And Maya's like, yeah, he's like very defensive now. He goes, yeah, well, I think there's someone in his ear.
Yeah, all roads lead back to Lindsay. So back home, Paige gets back in bed and goes, oh my God, I love it here.
And Lindsay goes, holy moly, baby. And Carl's like, sorry, I had to pee really bad. She goes, I know, me too. Oh my God, our peas match.
And then he goes, your nipples are so hard, babe. So then Chris is shirtless in his room at night and burps, you know. And then he's moving a pillow from one bed to another. And then he just keeps staring at both beds back and forth. He goes, I'm missing a pillow. And that was it. That's the whole story.
He's like, he's having an existential crisis. And then Lindsay says to Carl, so you want to hang out with peeps? Yeah. No. Because you're filled for the day? Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, you don't have to. You sure are filled. Haven't you had a lot, my little baby? You're filled up with people, babe.
Oh my God, get off the show, you two. Fuck with this. Go be happy somewhere else. This is disgusting to watch. And you too, Kyle and Amanda. Gross. This isn't the show. It's not the show I signed up for. I don't want to watch people baby talking each other. It's gross.
But at least Kyle and Amanda are like socializing with other people in the house. And Kyle is still being kind of messy, you know? But
well, now they are because they're past the stage where they need each other at all times. You know, now they're like, fine. Amanda can go off and like have her own storylines now. She hasn't, but she can. And she's she seems willing.
You missed the storyline of, guys, I have an onion, so I'm going to do onion chunks.
So, just this new couple thing. Not into it. So then in the morning, in the kitchen, Kyle goes, he's making coffee, and he goes, I will have a carb because these sugar cubes are adorable.
So I think this is actually going to be more of the through line of the season of Kyle falling off of whatever diet he was putting himself on. Him just slowly indulging in more and more sugar.
There is something about getting a mullet where you just start walking around in your underwear and getting a pot belly. And I don't know if it's just being from Texas, but those things seem to go hand in hand. Okay, I've lived it.
Carl comes downstairs and goes, wow, no pants party, huh? And Kyle's like, yeah, I came down for coffee and just sort of stayed. Yeah. Wow.
So then the girls gather on Paige's bed. And meanwhile, Carl and Lindsay go outside. And Lindsay's like, we should have done berries. Have you talked to Kyle about work at all? And Carl's like, no, just little stuff. Like, I don't even know, like, how the Italy trip was. Like, he hasn't even asked about our moving or anything. I was like, did they go to Italy or just to eat at Italy? Like,
well, maybe we'd know if he'd, like, asked, if he'd talked to me about it. I don't know where he went. For all I know, they may have just... They may have just gone Olive Garden. I just so out of the loop.
So what else? How is this still going on? This is over an hour and a half. What were we watching? Jesus Christ!
But by the way, Carl's like, oh, I don't even know how their trip to Italy was, and he hasn't asked about our move-in. Well, I hate when couples do this. Like, they haven't even asked about our move-in. What do they need to know? You guys have basically lived together for several years. You lived upstairs, downstairs from each other. You guys spend summers together. Why is it supposed to be so pressing that Kyle has to ask about that? I think the Italy trip is a thing that should require more questioning. But to be honest, both things are like, when you're ready to talk about them, talk about it. But like, so sue me if I forget to ask about your trip to Italy. You know, like, I don't care that much.
I think Carl's just going through that new relationship thing where your girlfriend is everything. You don't have any other friends. And also the girlfriend and the wife don't like each other. And so these guys have to try and be friends when their significant others just don't like each other. And that's not easy, because Carl could always kind of be on Lindsay's side, but then vary because they were just friends. He could say when she was wrong, and now he can't really say when she's wrong. And at least yet. So it's going to be trouble.
I know. I think that I feel like I'm siding more with Kyle because I feel like Kyle seems a little bit more tortured by the situation, where Carl seems like he's looking for excuses to be mad at Kyle so that way he can move on from him. And I think that Amanda is actually being pretty reasonable, because she then tells Kyle, like, look, your relationship has changed. You had single Carl for so long. He was just your buddy, but like, it's natural for things to be a little different once people start dating, which is, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but she's right.
Yeah, but this is also kind of what she wants, I think, is getting rid of Lindsay. She's like, oh, honey, don't worry. That's just natural. Because what does she care,
But that being said, I mean, even though things do change when people get into relationships, what's the worst is when people get into a relationship and then it's like you never see them again because then they just close the door behind them. That's not good. And I don't think that she's saying that, but if she is excusing that, then that's not cool, because like, you should be able to find a healthy balance in between.
Well, but like we said before, this all goes back to Winter House, where you've got Amanda literally walking up to them trying to reignite this dick touch gate, and obviously trying to cause problems and break them up and do all this. So there's all this other stuff it's about Amanda, and I look at it as being about Amanda and Paige versus Lindsay, basically, in this. Mm-hmm. And it constantly is. It seems like it's constantly that.
Yeah.
And this is just how it's manifesting itself this year. And so, of course, Amanda's like, babe, it's normal. So what? So you're just not going to see Lindsay and Carl as much? It's just a different phase of life, Yeah. But we'll see how it ends up working out.
Well, meanwhile, Carl is talking about this stuff with Lindsay, and then she's like,
well, those questions just get harder because when you're, out here, you're reminded of how much you love Kyle is like a friend, but like not as much as you would love your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and she has a good point where she's like, Kyle's filled the void of the older brother figure that you lost. However, you have a working relationship and he can't be everything to you. And so you need to figure out what you want, because no matter what, he's going to be let down. So get used to that, because it'll make it much easier. she's like, get ready to go disappoint Kyle and fucking do it, Carl. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So interesting. We'll see what happens. I mean, it is coupley and stuff, but they brought enough for us to go on for this long. So
yeah. I thought it was actually a really good start. I was afraid that this was going to be a really lame season of adulting, but what I actually am finding is that I think that this situation with Carl and Kyle is going to be very compelling, because I think it's actually something that a lot of us have dealt with before. So I'm hoping that this will actually be a really good season, because I love the newbies. The newbies are great.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely good casting. Well, everybody, thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to put in your submission videos for
for
award
your consideration.
Season. Yeah.
Advocate for your favorites. Okay, don't let if there's someone who deserves an award and deserves recognition, then make sure we know about it. Okay, tag us at Watch What Crappens, and we'll be back later this week. We'll have Below Deck and a whole bunch of other shows. So we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Dana C. Dana Do. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Can't stop fanning over Tina Manning.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Megan Berg, you can't have a burger without the Berg.
You're never alone with Lacey Monteleone.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
There ain't no problem that Sarah Salvia can't solve ya.
Christy Wowardy Dowardy.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Erica, 500 Days of Summers.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke.
Undo your fasteners. It's Aaron Kastner.
We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill. Make it lastner with Aaron Kastner.
We want to hang with Liz Lang.
Shannon out of a cannon Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.